Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to 5 to Thrive Live. I'm Karolyn Gazella, and I co-host this show with my good friend, Dr. Lise Alschuler. I think today's topic is timely because I'm not sure about you, but I often get a little anxious around the holidays, which means my mental health can take a hit. So I'm going to have a conversation with a dear friend who also happens to be one of my favorite health experts. Karen Todd is a registered dietitian with over 30 years of experience in exercise performance and nutritional product development. Currently, she is the vice president of global brand marketing for Kiyohako, managing marketing for health product ingredients. And she is also on the executive board of the Council for Responsible Nutrition. But before we start our conversation, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Beginning with Cetria, a patented form of glutathione, clinically proven to raise blood glutathione levels. Glutathione is the master antioxidant and the body's primary defense against free radicals. It also helps support respiratory health. For more information, visit cetriaglutathione.com. Also, cognizin citicoline, which is nature's way of keeping the brain's energy-producing centers firing on all cylinders. If you're looking for a way to enhance your brain function, including memory, focus, and attention, look for cognizin on the label or go to cognizin.com for more information. ProThriver's Wellness Brain is a product that contains cognizin, as well as other brain-supporting nutrients and herbs. You can find ProThriver's Wellness Brain online at pureformulas.com. There's also ProThriver's Wellness Sleep, which combines higher dose melatonin and other sleep-supporting natural ingredients specifically designed for thrivers. You can find ProThriver's Wellness Sleep also at pureformulas.com. And Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics, it's a best-selling probiotic for more than 30 years, and it contains 12 probiotic strains that are shelf-stable, so no refrigeration is required because of a unique 3-year fermentation process. It's a very effective probiotic. Learn more at drohhiraprobiotics.com. Karen Todd, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Karolyn. It's great to be here.
All right. So before we dig into today's topic, I'd like to talk about the fact that you're known as the Supplement Dietitian, which is actually pretty unique. Our listeners may not realize this, but for a registered dietitian to know as much about dietary supplements as you do is rare. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. I actually have been working, you said it earlier, but I've been working in the industry for over 30 years in nutrition and exercise performance. And I have worked on all aspects from product development to looking at the original source or the first source of those nutrients that are coming into the vitamins or to the functional foods or beverages. And then I've also been on the educational side, speaking with consumers and educating them on why they need products. And I found that my background being a dietitian is very unique, that I'm I'm food first, but supplements are part of a balanced diet and part of a lifestyle. So I've really embraced that side of things. And also what I'm really working on now is educating consumers on how to make their life easier to identify and navigate the supplement aisle with confidence and not confusion.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, that you're food first, but I have to say in the years that I've been doing this, and you and I have been doing this for about the same amount of time, I have noticed that some registered dietitians kind of poo-poo dietary supplements. So what I love about you is you have such an integrative approach because food first, but yes, there is a time when dietary supplements are needed. And that is, of course, what Dr. Alschuler and I talk about on this show. So you're the perfect guest. So let's dig into mental health, which actually has become one of my favorite topics to write about and research lately. So let's start with diet, your food first. So how can our diet either negatively or positively impact our mood? Can you give us some examples?
Absolutely. So the food you put or the nutrition you put into your diet and into your body is really important, from carbohydrates to fats to proteins, and it's very similar to the fuel you put into your car. The premium fuel is going to give you better gas mileage. It's going to make sure the car runs longer, faster, even. So it is a more premium product, but it provides that. Better outcome along the way. And I see that with food and the nutrients that are in the food. So the quality of the carbohydrates, the quality of the protein you put in, it's really, really important for, especially during the holidays. It's such a stressful time right now. And what you eat can either set you off, or it can help calm you down and put you into a more of a relaxation mode. So I think it's really important that we do get those premium ingredients through foods first. And like, if you're talking about carbohydrates, it's healthy grains and whole grain ingredients, or legumes and beans are really good. Fresh fruits and vegetables. Then you go over to proteins, from eggs to chicken breast to turkey. We're going to have lots of turkey coming up in the next week or so. But really, those lean proteins are really, really important sources. And I think that is a really good foundation, from high quality protein, excellent grains, and fresh fruits and vegetables.
So those are some great examples of what can actually, like, when you eat that way, your mood will be better, correct? You'll be in a better mood, you'll have less anxiety and potentially less depression, etc., when you're eating a healthy diet.
Well, really, it's in moderation, different things. Carbohydrates can make your glucose soar or increase, unless you have adequate protein or fats to balance that out. And I think that's really the important part, is stability. So
Mhm.
it's not one thing over the other, but balanced moderation of that adequate protein, adequate fat, and then also adequate carbohydrates.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And speaking of balance and moderation, one thing that I know I do sometimes at the holidays is I overeat.
Mm.
So what I've been trying to focus on is I do overnight fasting or intermittent fasting, whatever you'd like to call it. And I find that I eat less during the day and I don't overeat. Um, Overeating really can make me crabby. What's going on there? Why does overeating make me crabby?
Well, all the blood in your body is going to your stomach to help
Ah,
digestion and absorption, of course, but it's not going to your brain as you were where you need it and want it, making you sleepier. Um, Crabbiness can be part of the different neurotransmitters going through your body too, and the different foods you're eating. So that can be part of it. You may have had a high carbohydrate meal and your glucose spiked and then it just dropped. That can also lead to mood and crabbiness, as you say.
yeah, okay. Okay, so before I leave diet, what about sugar?
Sh-
Can it
Yeah,
negative affect our mood?
it absolutely can. Simple sugars are probably the worst ones that will do that quickly. So if you are going to have some simple sugars, and that's really like your pure sugar or cookies, candies types of products, you want to have that with a either a complex carbohydrate or a protein source or even a fat source. So it doesn't raise your glucose levels or spike them so quickly and then fall rapidly right after.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so you are also a strength and conditioning specialist. How does exercise influence our mental health? And can you give us some examples?
Yeah, exercise is really important for stabilizing mood. I call it the happiness vitamin itself, because as you exercise, and whatever type of exercise you do, just movement, walking, strength training, it's really important to keep your body moving and it keeps your blood vessels and the blood flowing within your body, but it can help regulate your mood over time. And some people who exercise even call it it makes them happy. It makes them almost euphoric as they get into this state of running or bicycling or whatever they might be doing. So exercise can have that effect, and it's really, really important for maintaining that positive attitude as well.
Yeah, I would agree. Some people are like, "Oh, I exercise because I want to lose weight." I don't exercise because I want to lose weight. I exercise because I want to be in a good mood. I mean, it is really so powerful when it comes to that. And when I add in nature, you know that I'm a horseback rider and I'm a hiker. When I add in nature to my physical activity, that's just like, the bonus.
Oh, absolutely. Out in nature and even taking your shoes off and absorbing some
Mhm.
of the electrons from the earth can help
Yeah.
balance out your body's different reactions that you're having. So I think I've learned that from you and Dr.
Yeah.
Alschuler of hugging the trees and going outside for your walks, because that is a healthier and happier way of exercising.
Yes, absolutely, and then I add in animals, of course, and that
Yes.
helps. That helps everything, and I have a puppy now, so that makes life all worth living. Okay, now I want to talk about your area of expertise, which is actually an area that I'm super interested in, which is dietary supplements. What are some tried and true supplement ingredients that can positively influence our mental health? And I have a few I want to add too, but what bubbles to the top of your list?
So the one that comes top of mind, and of course you mentioned cognizant acetylcholine, and I'll get to that, but I'm a really big supporter of omega-3 fatty acids through supplementation. And I do believe fish oil has an effect on mood, has an effect on inflammation of your body. And if you don't eat fatty fish or don't get that in your diet, you do need to supplement. And I am one of those. I don't care for fish, and I do need to supplement it within my diet. So omega-3 fatty acids are always number one on my list.
I would agree with that. I think that, and you bring up a great point because sometimes with mood and mental health, it can be kind of an inflammatory reaction in the brain. And I think that the reduced inflammation is going to help health on so many levels. And it's really at the top of my list as well.
Oh, good. There we go.
All right. So what's second on your list?
Second would actually have to be cognizant acetylcholine. You mentioned it earlier. It's a branded form of acetylcholine, and it's a compound your body actually makes naturally. It's in every cell of your body in really, really small amounts, but in your brain, it's in really high amounts. And as you age, your your brain does need extra nutrition. And although acetylcholine is not a nutrient per se, it does provide choline, and it does help your body naturally make the key building blocks of healthy brain cells. We call those phosphatidylcholine, phosphatidylserine. Those are really important for structural units of your brain. And it also can help the energy circuits of your brain work and increase acetylcholine, which helps with nerve transmission as well.
Yeah, it's one of our favorites, and obviously, Cognizant is a sponsor, and it's one of our favorites primarily because the research. So, I think you and I have had this conversation over the years, and what drives both of us crazy is that when there's research done on an ingredient, but then other forms of that nutrient claim the research, and it's not the same. It's borrowed research. So, we look for ingredients that actually have clinical studies done on that exact ingredients, and Cognizant definitely falls into that realm for sure.
Absolutely. It's one of the leading nootropics in the marketplace today.
Hmm.
And we have the top number of studies in healthy adults and adolescents to support its safety and its efficacy.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great one. Okay, so I'm going to let you do one more, and then I'm going to do one. So you give me another nutrient or herb.
I'm going to go with magnesium.
Oh,
That's a good
that's
one. A lot of people fall short. We even have deficiencies of magnesium. It helps support stress. It helps sleep quality. It's a really, really good one that people do not get enough of. Even muscle relaxation, magnesium can help support. And I do recommend two different versions. One could be magnesium glycinate, the other one magnesium threonate. And those I just find work better with my body. Some forms of magnesium can cause intestinal discomfort, and these do not do that. So,
Yeah, that's really important. I use the glycinate for that very
yep.
reason. The research shows that it's better absorbed, and
Mhm.
there's less of a chance to get diarrhea or loose stools. So I think that's really important. Do you have a dosage amount for magnesium? Because I'm often asked that, and I'm just curious about what you take or what you recommend.
I think it really depends on the glycinate. I believe that recommendation is about 400 milligrams,
Yep.
and the threonate about 200 milligrams.
Okay, so since you mentioned magnesium, do you mind if I add one in?
Sure.
Because I am a huge fan of L-theanine.
I knew you were going to mention that.
I know, right? And here's the interesting thing. So L-theanine, I've been reading about research on L-theanine. I mean, just this year, there was a review of 18 different studies that showed that L-theanine helped both quantity and quality of sleep. So I take it for sleep, but I
Mhm.
have also been finding that it helps with anxiety. And there's new research showing that when you combine magnesium with L-theanine, it makes the magnesium makes the L-theanine even more effective, specific to sleep. But there was another brand new randomized clinical trial that just came out last year that also showed that the combination of magnesium and L-theanine not only improved sleep, but also improved mood and daytime alertness and productivity, which I
Mhm.
think is really, really, which, I mean, it makes sense. If you're sleeping better, you're going to be more productive and you're going to be more alert. But I'm just curious, have you heard about adding magnesium into L-theanine and having that combo be effective?
That's new for me, but that makes sense if you're taking it at night for sleep.
Mhm.
I've always heard about the combination of L-theanine and caffeine that help
Mm,
improve focus when combined together.
yes.
And helping reduce anxiety and anxiousness overall. But that would make sense if you're taking it at night versus in the morning or during the day.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned the studies on L-theanine with caffeine because I do take a small 100 milligram dose of
Mm.
L-theanine with my coffee in the morning. And I think that it has been helping. And yeah, I just really like that combination a lot. Okay, so it's your turn. Do you have another one that you would like to talk about, or do you have anything else to say about L-theanine? Because that was kind of mine.
I No, I think L-theanine is a great one for calming and relaxation. I think a lot of folks can take it in a wide variety of different types of products, from tablets, capsules, beverages. So it's really versatile, and I think that's really important too with when you're taking ingredients, that you're not just stuck with one delivery format. You can take them at different times, and there are many new delivery products that they're nighttime sleep products that may or may not contain melatonin,
Hmm.
but then it's basically another use occasion to get some nutrients in your body that will help reduce anxiety, help promote sleep, and as you mentioned earlier, sleep is so important for just quality and quantity of sleep.
Yeah,
I think.
and it's so important to mood. And I do have one more thing to say about L-theanine before I
Okay.
let you go, before I give you another opportunity. So we're talking a lot about L-theanine for sleep, but there was a review late last year of 11 different studies from 6 countries, including the United States, that showed that L-theanine was not only effective for anxiety disorder symptoms, but also ADHD symptoms, and even symptoms of schizophrenia, which is a very
Mm,
challenging mental health condition to treat. So L-theanine is pretty powerful.
it is.
Okay, so your turn.
My last one would probably be glutathione. I'm a big supporter of glutathione, and getting it in is any way you can, either through foods. This is one that is actually in a wide variety of foods, from asparagus to strawberries to my favorite avocado. But it does at higher doses, you do need to supplement with that. And it's something that you need to take in periodically, either through the day or every day. It's not something that if you take it at the beginning of the week, you're still going to have an effect at the end of the week. So it is something you would take on a regular basis, but it just supports the body's overall systems from an antioxidant standpoint. And it does so many things within the body that it's one of my favorite antioxidants, and they call it the master antioxidant because it does help with recycling of vitamin C, vitamin E, and controls so many different things within your body.
I'm so glad that you mentioned glutathione because this is an example of a nutrient that has multiple effects. So, we were talking about L-theanine for mood. Well, glutathione helps the immune system. It helps support detoxification. It has so many different benefits that it makes a lot of sense that we would need glutathione for our mental health as well. What dosage would you recommend for glutathione?
I recommend 250 milligrams to 500 milligrams a day of glutathione.
All right. And I do have to say that this is another example of why a branded ingredient is so important, because there was some controversy regarding the absorption of glutathione, and cetriaglutathione has amazing research. That's why we chose it to be on our sponsor list. It has an amazing research showing that it is not only effective, but it's absorbed, and it's the one that was used in the study. So that's why it's very important to look for Cetria when you're looking for your glutathione. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And there are so many different choices out there. And I just do think that's really important from an efficacy standpoint. Does it work? Does it get into your body? But also, you have to look at safety. Where does this ingredient come from? Is it a quality manufacturer? How long have they been manufacturing or making it? And you do, as a consumer, need to look into those more and more. And that's where I think transparency with these ingredients is really important. And we try to put out on our websites as much information for consumers, for healthcare practitioners as possible. And as those questions come in, we do add more and more information to the websites as we build on the science.
Right. Okay, so I have two more for you. I'm going to
Okay.
focus a little bit on herbs. One herb that I'm fascinated with, I'm not going to talk about it too much because starting next year, I am going to do a show every month that does either a nutrient or herb profile. So once a month, I'm going to pick something, and I'm going to profile that and talk all about that herb or nutrient. And this herb is going to be my first one, and it's saffron.
Ooh.
Yeah, saffron's a good one, and the research is just growing, how it helps with depression, anxiety, even reducing the risk of dementia. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be my first new herb profile. But the other thing I wanted to mention is that if in fact your mood and your mental health is being affected by stress, which can happen around the holidays, we often talk about adaptogenic herbs on this show. And I'm not sure how you feel about adaptogens, but I'm a fan.
I think it depends which ones you're talking about too. There's a lot of
True.
different conversations around adaptogens. So
Mhm.
are there ones that you particularly like?
I mean, ashwagandha, I think
Yes.
is a good one. Some of the ginsengs I like those more for like cancer-related fatigue
Mhm.
and more energy issues, because with some of the adaptogens, they actually increase your energy. So you wanna be mindful of that. But some of the mushrooms have adaptogenic effects. Do you have a favorite as well?
I with the adaptogens, I typically take those in a supplement form, but I
Mhm.
know there's quite a few different beverage forms out there, and that's kind of why I asked you, and I wanted to ask dosages because it really varies with a lot of these, and you do have to dig in a little deeper and kind of figure out, like, why am I taking this? What effect do I want it to have on my body? And ashwagandha is a good one, but there's a lot of different pieces and parts that companies are getting the ashwagandha from,
Mhm.
and then they have different effects as well. So that's something it's I would just dig deeper and deeper into. And right now I don't have that added into my routine.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't
I
take
might,
any.
coming up for the holidays though.
Yeah, I know. That's right. Yeah, I think anytime that we're looking for, stress management. Um, but yeah, I think the adaptogens are interesting. We also have done entire shows on adaptogens, and it's very complex. And I think you're bringing up a good point that if you're going to try something new, like an adaptogen or an adaptogen combination, it might be good to talk with a naturopathic physician or an
Mhm.
herbalist to get some guidance in that. Um,
Absolutely.
well, where can people find out more about you and your work? Do you have a website that you can share, or are you on social media?
Sure, I do have a website. I do, of course, work for Kiwahako, a Japanese company, and you can find me at that company or on LinkedIn. And my LinkedIn profile, of course, is Karen Todd. But I do have a website myself that I promote information on education and how to make supplement science simple, how to navigate the supplement aisle for consumers, and that's the supplementdietitian.com.
Supplementdietitian.com. Okay, listeners, I really want you to check this out. Supplementdietitian.com, because Karen's blog is excellent. And if you are wanting to take dietary supplements or confused about dietary supplements, go to supplementdietitian.com, because it's really going to give you a lot of great information about dietary supplements, which is her area of expertise. Well, Karen, this has been great. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful catching up.
Yeah, I'm going to have you on next year. So let's think about a nutrient that you'd like to profile, and we'll get together and we'll have you back on.
Would love it. Thank you so
Uh,
much.
all right, that sounds good. Well, that wraps up this episode of 5 to Thrive Live. Once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Pro Thrivers Wellness Sleep, Cetria Glutathione, the superior glutathione to support liver and immune health, Cognizant Citicoline to help enhance memory, focus, and attention, and Dr. Ohhira's award-winning shelf-stable probiotic. Thanks for listening, and remember, you can find past shows at ithriveplan.com. That's ithriveplan.com, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We are on every single major podcast outlet, so check us out, 5 to Thrive Live. May you experience joy, laughter, and love. It's time to thrive, everyone. Have a great night.